welcome to Artwork Winona for March. It's all in the family month here in this work of art that we call home. But first, I want to talk about Winona Arts program, the Bud King Disco Ball. That's free ice skating at the Bud King Arena on March 8th, and it's creative because it's to the wonderful sounds of disco. Indoor and outdoor skating, weather permitting, from 6 to 8 p.m. on Friday, March 8th. Now, our show, we'll get back in just a moment after a word from our sponsors, but let me tell you the lineup. We've got Emily Kurash-Casey from the Main Street program, and then we have Patrick OShea and Eric Hoykasoven from St. Mary's University talking about a special concert and tour. Then we have Emily's husband, Dave Casey, from the Minnesota Marine Museum of Art talking about all the great programming in March, including their second Saturdays. And finally, we have the Michelle son and mother team, Christopher Michelle and Lauren Michelle from Minnesota Conservatory of the Arts talking about a special concert and new program that they're building. So that's a lot for the month of March, but we'll be back in just a moment to hear from Emily Kurash.
Stay up to date with Winona Area Public Schools by watching Making the Grade here on HBC TV 25, presented by Cost Cutters. Join me, Superintendent Rich Dahman, each month for interviews with administrators, district staff, and students. Tune in to Making the Grade Monday through Friday here on HBC TV 25, brought to you by Cost Cutters of Winona, located in the professional building in the Winona Mall Annex.
And we're back with Emily Kurash-Casey, the Main Street Program Director, and she's got some exciting March news for us. So tell us about these programs.
So some of you may remember last year our Artists on Main Street initiative that we called Third Space. And it was a collection of installations. There were tiles where trees had been cut down. There were art fairs. There was dancing in the street. There was Shakespeare. There was Halloweenona. There were a lot of programs that brought people down into the business
So
district.
these are micro grants that you got from which?
We got them from being a part of the Minnesota Main Street program through the Preservation Alliance of Minnesota with funding from the Bush Foundation and support from Springboard for the Arts. There's a lot of organizations coming together to make this happen.
And they backed you up for a second year.
We've got it for not just a second year, but another year after that.
Okay.
So Winona was a pilot program in 2018, so 2019 and 2020 are also part of this grant. We had a very specific area that we worked in last year on 3rd Street from Center to Lafayette, and we're expanding that this year. We're ending at Lafayette, but we're going all the way down 3rd to Main and turning down Main right up to the entrance of Levy Park at 2nd Street.
So a big L.
A big
basically.
L.
Yeah.
And the goal of the project is to create activity and interest in the business district so it will draw folks outside of Levy Park when they're down for things like Live at the Levee or Farmers Market, to encourage them to be out and about in the business district.
So I'm a creative person. I'm sitting here watching this wonderful show and I'm going, what do I do to apply?
So in order to apply, you don't have to be an artist. In fact, we don't need everybody to be a well-trained, masters in art something. We want people who are just creative and have ideas about how downtown could be engaging and cool. We do ask that you attend a placemaking workshop that is on March 16th. It's a Saturday morning, so that if you work during the week, this can be something that's a hobby for you. But we ask that you attend the workshop, you meet some of the other interested folks, you maybe make some new connections. But after that, it goes into the application process, and we're hoping to have awards to projects by early April, mid-April, so that programming can happen from May through the end of October.
Oh, so it's late spring, summer, and early fall projects. Okay.
Exactly.
And it can be anything at all that could help beautify downtown or make downtown more exciting?
Yes, it can be anything. I think one thing we want to look at this year is what can we do that can be a little more lasting than a few hour-long event. So things like you've maybe seen yarn bombing of trees and bridges, or a scavenger hunt of lots of little creatures hidden around, or word poetry on the street that you have to walk 2 blocks to read the entire poem. It could be anything. I know there are people out there who have ideas that I can't even possibly think of, but might be the coolest thing.
It'd be great if a group of kids came along
Yes,
and did chalk painting
absolutely.
on steroids.
There
so
is-
it was like, you know.
There's
just-
no age. We want students, we want seniors, we want folks from populations who aren't often downtown. We're really hoping to engage new population groups with this program. Each artist or creative person who applies can write for up to $1,000 for their program. And we ask that those creative people pay themselves for their time. We want to really
Wow.
encourage that the arts are not just a fun, good thing for Winona, but they're an economic driver.
So it could be research, materials, and salary,
Yep,
that kind of thing?
absolutely. So they could, their materials could cost them $200, but they are spending a lot of time, and so the rest is going towards them. Their materials could cost $900, and they're paying themselves for a little time.
Then they underpay themselves. right.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
do.
okay.
But collaborations are also encouraged. That it can be a few people working together. There's really no limit to what people can come up with on
Such a
this.
cool
It's
program.
so interesting.
Now, I know you're also looking for some volunteers, so we
We
should get
are.
that plug in.
Yeah, so Winona Main Street does a lot of work with all kinds of groups, but we also need help ourselves. We are looking for folks who are interested in bringing some engaging, exciting creativity to some of our events, like the Sweet Stroll or Touch a Truck. Touch a Truck happens in May, so it's coming up soon. But we also do a lot of cleaning up. So with all the piles of snow that are going to melt, we need to clean up downtown before the spring hits and things like Midwest Music Fest and graduation happens. So we really set Winona downtown up to be ready for art to happen.
So if I'm wanting to volunteer, how do I reach out?
You can find me in so many ways. You can email me, go to winonamainstreet.com. You can find all my contact information there. Find us on Facebook, or you can call our office at the Chamber at 507-452-2272.
Oh, great. So this is the Main Street program, and it's centered downtown. The grants this year going to Nell from 3rd Street to Levee, and then the cleanup is all over.
Cleanup is all over. We do quarterly cleanups, but we have lots of fun stuff coming down the pipeline this spring and summer.
All right. Well, it's going to be a busy March. For
Very
the
busy.
Winona downtown. Okay. We'll be back in just a moment.
What's a Southern girl? It's waking up before the sun rises. It's loving the simple things in life, like the dirt roads that lead you home. It's working hard to get what you want. It's hanging your own stands, breaking your own ground, and strategizing every little move for that one moment when everything you've worked for is standing right in front of you. Even if I fail a million times, I keep pushing myself till I'm exhausted, filthy, and about to give up. And that's when the adrenaline hits.
And we're back with Eric Hoykosoven and Patrick OShea, assistant professor and professor of music at St. Mary's University. And you have a wonderful tour coming up with some dates back in Winona of the
Jazz combo.
jazz combo and the chamber singers. So go ahead.
Well, I'll speak to the jazz combo.
Okay.
We have a group of about 8 young musicians, and our theme of this tour is called Peace, a tribute to Horace Silver.
Oh, nice.
And Horace Silver is kind of an unsung hero in jazz, one of my favorite piano players of all time. And so the entire program is music that he wrote. And interestingly enough, he also was a poet. And so almost everything he wrote has lyrics, and nobody performs them that way anymore.
And that's where you come in. Okay.
Two of his chamber singers are my soloists, and they're doing about 4 of the dozen selections or so. We leave on the 22nd of February first for Germany. We're 4 days in the city of Cologne, or near Cologne.
What an incredible opportunity for these students. Oh my.
And then we're 4 days in Belgium. And I'll let Patrick talk a little bit more about the venues.
Sure.
It's just going to be an amazing trip. And then we'll talk about our homecoming.
Okay,
concert,
go
sure.
for it.
Yeah, we've done this kind of a tour before. It's sort of a tandem tour. We don't perform together necessarily per se, but we travel together. And so the chamber singers 26 singers, and we're doing sort of a more traditional choir program, everything from the Renaissance through contemporary stuff. In fact, one very contemporary piece that Eric actually has written for this tour that'll get its world premiere in Cologne at our joint concert there. And his
Well,
wife,
if he wrote it, it's not contemporary.
and his wife Janet will be playing flute on that as well. So it ties into the themes that have to do with peace and forgiveness, and it's a wonderful setting of a text from Canterbury Cathedral. Not Canterbury, sorry, Coventry.
Coventry Cathedral, after the cathedral was bombed in World War II.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I happened to cross the text while I was visiting Dachau concentration camp last summer, and I said to my wife at that point in time, this has got to be set to music. So.
Oh, how beautiful.
There's also some interesting family connections.
Yeah.
All of Eric's family is from
Cologne.
And so we're staying with friends and extended family there. And then there's actually kind of a family connection of sorts. In Belgium, we are connecting with a community of De La Salle Christian Brothers. And we're singing at one of their schools and performing jointly with a little choir from their secondary school in Ternat, which is just outside of Brussels.
And then
I was wondering if there's going to be an OShea connection in Belgium. I was
Not really.
well, that was our 2015 tour.
Yeah,
We
that
were
was
in
the
Ireland.
Ireland
okay.
tour.
And then the last night before we fly home, I think we have sort of bookend concerts with jazz. We're playing in a venue called the Music Village, which is this amazing professional jazz club in downtown Brussels.
Oh, wow.
And
I mean, this will be so life-changing for these
we hope
kids.
so.
Yeah.
I mean,
And when we come back,
Right.
people will get a chance to hear us here in Winona. So the first of the two homecoming concerts will be Eric's. So why don't you speak
My
to
jazz
that?
concert is in the Filio Recital Hall, Tuesday night, March 5th at 7:30. It'll be about an hour. We won't do, in Belgium we're actually doing our full 2 sets, but I know people might not want to sit through that on a Tuesday night. So we'll do about an hour. We'll do the
there'll be
greatest,
lots of encores.
the
Look at it
greatest
that
hits.
way.
Well, yeah, this is our first encore, right? And that's open and free to the public, and then on Thursday.
And then on Thursday, in the very beautiful Chapel of Mary of the Angels, the chamber singers will basically present our whole program. And we're actually singing for a couple of masses in Cologne and in Ternat. So the concert program includes music that we're also doing in liturgical context, and it'll be about 70 minutes probably total, including a brief intermission. And both of these concerts are free.
Great. So
Yeah.
this show begins and starts to run in March. So mark your calendars right away, because these are early March performances.
Right.
Some of the best music you'll hear in Winona free right at the start. And unfortunately, if you're watching the show in late March, well, they were fabulous concerts, and we're looking forward to when you guys perform next, right?
If you missed it, all of the concerts at St. Mary's are put onto a SoundCloud account, Music at St. Mary's, by our music industry students. It may not get up there till the end of the semester, but if you are interested in hearing the performances, that's another way. Obviously, you won't hear it in the beautiful venues. But
Right, but the Hoykesoven H3O concerts are happening too.
yes, those
right.
are
The
those
jazz,
are the jazz jams going on third Sunday of the month. In fact, in March, it's on St. Patrick's
Well,
Day.
there you go. So there
What
could be an
synergy.
OShea connection to
Right.
to be
There could. We frequent those.
I think he may come down and sing Danny Boy or something. I don't know.
Okay. Well, thanks so much. The music is alive and well in Winona, and certainly at St. Mary's University.
Thank you so much for having us.
Oh, no problem. We'll be back in just a moment.
Wondering where you can go to find great old movies? Well, look no further than HBC TV 25. Each week, TV 25 presents the HBC Movie, and we won't monkey around. We'll show you movies like Night of the Living Dead, Giant Gila Monster, The Fat Spy, His Girl Friday, and others. Join us mornings at 12:30 a.m., and for those of you with better sleeping habits, Saturday afternoon at 2 on HBC TV 25 for the HBC Movie.
Hey, thanks for coming back. We have Emily Kurash's new husband, Dave Casey, the Casey and Kurash Casey,
Yes.
here. And, this is what I love about Winona. We have a husband and a wife. They're both connected to the arts. They're both, movers and shakers in town. You're with Minnesota Marine Art Museum, one of the gems of our community. And you're here to talk about all the great March programming. So go right ahead.
Sure. We have a couple great exhibitions that just opened. The first is Anna Metcalf. She has an exhibition called Upstream. She's a ceramicist from the Twin Cities. She does really interesting installation work.
And these are not just cups and saucers.
Nope.
This is
Nope.
ceramics on steroids.
It is, yeah. She does real collaborative work. She works with a lot of students. And what you'll see in that exhibition is, for example, she has a piece of boats hanging from the ceiling that are, she created these ceramic boats, and then she worked with students to write what's important to them about the Mississippi River on these works. So they're very large, really neat interactive pieces.
Takes up almost half of the gallery space, or a good chunk of it, and it's all suspended. So the whole idea of the floating and the sort of feeling that one might get of a boat is happening not only with each individual boat, but it's in the shape of almost one
shape
large
of the river.
boat.
And there's also one of them of Lake Superior. You really see the topography of Lake Superior
Just
from this
incredible.
hanging ceramic installations piece. It's really,
And the
really
second show that opened?
Yep, and the other is from a Slovakian photographer named Maria Svarbova. This is her first American solo exhibition, which is really great. She has a huge exhibition going on in Taipei, China right now. She's had exhibitions across Europe. So this is the first one we've had of her. And she takes these really kind of dreamy, almost retro feeling photographs of Soviet-era swimming pools. It might not sound exciting.
Oh, no. I love this exhibit.
Yeah.
I thought it was just, it was eerily modern, and yet at the same time, you thought it was something that could have happened in the early part of this last century.
Yep, she has swimmers posed in the pools or alongside the pools in different ways. And exactly as you said, you don't know if it's happened 50 years ago, you don't know if it's today, you don't know if it's 50 years in the future. It's kind of timeless.
Yeah.
People really have had connections to that.
They're just haunting
Yeah,
pictures.
they're quite beautiful.
Yeah, and then you have second Saturdays coming up, right?
Yep, we have second Saturdays coming up. The second Saturday of every month for the rest of the year, we have $1 admission. And a lot of great programming going on. There's special themed tours. There's art activities, artist demonstrations, a lot of great activities. And this month, or March, I should say, is Women's Month. So we have Women in Art is the theme for March.
So you've got two exhibitions, solo
With female
exhibitions
artists,
with
right.
female artists. You've got this second Saturday that is all about celebrating women in art. And I know there's so much in the collection that is great female artists too. And there is a collection that is opening, right?
Selections from the Collections. Yep, another exhibition opening in the beginning of March. It's called Selections from the Collection. A lot of folks come to the museum and they see a piece that they love, and they come back next time and it's not there because we've rotated things out, or maybe they saw that a new piece was unveiled, but it's not on display yet. So Selections of the Collection is a chance to for us to get some stuff out on display that isn't on permanent display. So if you have an old favorite that has been on display in the past and is gone, it's your chance to come back and see it. Or if it's something new that we haven't had on display yet. So we have
And two things I want to talk about in terms of if you've never visited this incredible institution. You have an exhibition coming up on the 14th of March, I believe.
a lecture.
Lecture,
Yes,
yeah.
yes. John Swanson, our curator of collections and exhibitions, he's doing a talk called From Conception to Reception. And he's walking through kind of the 2-year process that it takes to put on an exhibition at the Minnesota Marine Art
Yes,
Museum.
so people that don't know what being a curator is like, you get this idea, hence the conception part,
Yep.
and then you carry it through, you reach out, you do all the work, you find out how to make it happen, and then hopefully it culminates with a nice opening reception,
Opening reception, yeah.
and then everyone gets to
Everyone's
enjoy.
happy. Yeah, a lot of people when they come to the museum, they have questions about where these exhibitions come from, or who decides how they're hung on the wall, or who picks the artists or collections that we're going to show. So John's going to really go into those details and answer all those
And
questions.
he's quite a raconteur in his own right, so it should be a really fun event.
Yeah.
I also
It's
just
a
want
free
to.
event on March 14th from 6 to 7.
Good, great. And I just want to, for those that may not have visited the museum yet or haven't gone as many times as they want to, this second Saturday's event, please take advantage of it. Especially if you have families, because it's a great way to expose your family to the museum. There are activities for young folks of all ages. So how young can you bring? I mean,
we have activities for all ages, from preschool through seniors.
There's something for everybody.
For each group,
There's beautiful music that's played,
live
and
music in the
sometimes
galleries.
live music. So if nothing else, you're hearing this beautiful music in acoustic settings that are surprisingly strong, and then able to look at the art in such a different way when you hear that soundtrack going on. And it's for $1.
And I think that's one thing that's really important to point out is the reason we can do this, to provide all this great program and only provide $1 admission, is through a grant that we have through the Minnesota State Arts Board. It's an arts access grant.
God bless that Minnesota State Arts Board.
Yes, we're very lucky. We rely on admissions to keep the lights on, to pay our staff and all those things. So the rest of that admission, a regular admission is $7. The State Art Board just picks up that other $6 for that.
And let's face it, the weather hasn't been so great lately. So driving to Chicago or to the cities to go to a museum, when you can go right down the street and see maybe even better art, if not just as great art, and it's right here in your backyard. So please take advantage of the Minnesota Marine Art Museum. It's truly just one of the treasures of our city.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great to see you, Dave.
Great, thanks, Lee.
All right, we'll be back in just a minute.
Kelmus Implement Company is an agricultural equipment dealership. Back in 2016, when HBC brought fiber optics to Altura, we saw a huge benefit in internet speeds over previous providers. With our vendors requiring real-time communications with our inventory and parts books, the internet speed has given us an advantage over our competition. I would recommend HBC's products because HBC has helped Kelmus Implement grow.
Contact HBC about our lightning-fast home and business internet connections today.
And rounding out our March show, we have Christopher Michelle and Lauren Michelle. I'm assuming there's a relationship of some type with the Michelles here.
Yes.
I believe it's son and mother. And from St. Mary's University, instructor of piano, and Dr. Michelle, who's here doing a performance that we're about to hear about.
Yes.
So let's hear.
Yes. Well, what brought this to fruition was a dream that we've had to have a class piano in Winona and offer that to the community. And it was Christopher's idea to do a fundraiser concert.
So in one of the rooms that was a former office, I believe the executive director's office, there is now going to be a piano studio, correct? And professional piano classes and all types of piano classes, and brought about by this concert that's going to happen as a fundraiser, right?
Right, and so personally, the reason I wanted to get involved is out of a lot of the concerts that I've played in the area, I've always tried to have some sort of message that I'm offering. And besides the music that I'm playing, I try to show that music is a wonderful way to bring people together. And when I found out that my mom was going to be starting a class piano program at MCA, I thought it would be a really neat opportunity to fuse those two ideas, to bring people together in the community, and also to, have a class piano program.
That's great. Yeah. That's great. So how did this idea come about?
I taught class piano at Winona State for 16 years, and it's been a dream of mine to offer this to adult beginners in the community.
Class piano, what does that mean?
Class piano means it's a group of people coming together who want to learn to play piano in a group setting. So it's a little different than private teaching.
Got it. So you're learning from each other and you're spurring each other on. And
exactly.
There's a little bit of that competitive spirit.
Competitive spirit and also collaborative spirit, and working together, performing together, and having fun together.
That's just great. And this will be at the Minnesota Conservatory for the Arts. And there was a plug that that you were supposed to get in for some other programs?
Yes, we've got other things going on, and let's see. We've got some jazz combos performing on March 6th inside the MCA's
we
Academy
had that
Theater.
as a segment, yeah.
Okay, cool. And we also have the Irish dancers performing. and that is on March 17th at the Monarch Public House in Fountain City. And we're also in rehearsals for the spring dance concert called Classically Speaking. And if you want more information about those, you can go online to the website.
Let's hear a little bit about what you'll be playing.
Sure. So I'm playing a full solo piano recital, and it's going to include works by Grieg, Liszt, and Brahms. And so I'm playing a set of 8 lyric pieces by Grieg, which are just really wonderful pieces. I love those very much. And then in the middle, I'm playing an etude by Franz Liszt called Ricordanza. And it all comes out of Romantic literature, where Ricordanza quite literally means to remember. It's the act of remembering. And Liszt is trying to capture this idea musically, the act of remembering something.
Wow.
And then the last piece that I'm playing is by Brahms, and it's the a theme and variations on a theme by Handel. And it's Opus 24 of Brahms, and it's apparently his most favorite piece that he wrote.
So it's a wonderful program, it sounds. Now, Mom's a piano teacher.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that this had something to do with you getting hooked at a probably birth, or maybe just a little later.
My mom was indeed my first piano teacher. That's
wow,
true.
that's so wonderful.
And you're still my favorite student.
Hey, that's good.
She has to say that.
Yeah, must have done something right. Yeah.
Now, and I know your father is, with Winona State is the oratorio and choral director, and so this is an incredibly musical family. I mean, you've got the genes on both sides. So, are there other members of the family that I'm about to learn about?
Yes,
that are...
Brian Michelle, Christopher's older brother, who is the total antithesis of Christopher in every way, right down to his hair, except for the fact he does like to perform as well. And he'll be coming down for a program we're doing in March as well, The Creation. Harry gets a chance to conduct again Winona Community Singers, and this is a collaboration with Winona State, so it's going to be a fun effort.
Now, what does he play? Also piano?
Piano and violin, but his main instrument is singing. Would you agree with that?
Probably.
So he'll be the vocalist for The Creation?
He's coming to sing, and Christopher's coming to sing, and we're actually flying in 3 soloists from across the country to perform. And we have Winona community instrumentalists accompanying us as well. So it's really a community effort.
Now, do you know the date of that? I know I should know it, and Heidi will kill me.
It's March 5th.
Okay.
March 5th.
So this is early in the airing time for the show. The show runs the entire month of March. So please make sure to mark your calendars for the March 5th
That's
date
at
right
Wesley
away.
United Methodist Church.
Great. And then for the rest of March, we'll be honored to dive into a little piano concert and recital for you, and then looking forward to the piano program.
Yeah, that's on March 9th
Yeah,
at the conservatory.
And then your program, we can shake hands, but your program will begin when? As soon as the room can get adapted?
We have our first class on the books as of last
When?
week, so it's in May and June.
So people can actually go online to the conservatory
actually go online
and sign up.
And they can be signing up soon for that when the next
Any
brochure
age
comes
requirement
out.
to do?
The ages for this is 18 to 55 plus.
Oh, okay. So as long as you're an adult, you can go right up until 90-something and play.
Exactly. And the only prerequisite is that you wish to learn to play piano and you want to have some fun.
That's great. Well, thank you so much for all
Thank
you
you.
do for music in our community and for the creativity in our community. And that's our show for March. So Artwork Winona, we're so excited to come to you. Thank you, HBC, for giving us this time. And let's all do something wonderful and creative throughout the month.